Dr. Bhaskar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Anna University, Chennai. Area of specialization is software engineering and database system. Guided more than 12 research scholars, published more than 40 national and international papers. Is a reviewer and editorial board member in international journals.
Welcome to UGC lecture series in computer science. In the last session, we have looked at requirements elicitation phase, where exactly we have stopped with fast approach. So I specifically mentioned there it was a team based approach. We continue from that. Some of the guidelines which is required for the fast approach are: arrange a meeting at a neutral site, establish rules for participation, informal agenda to encourage free flow of ideas, appoint a facilitator, prepare definition mechanism, board, worksheet and wall stickers. Participants should not criticize or debate. So one specific position where all these fast based approach guidelines have been followed is a conference, where you try to propose new idea which will be done as per this guideline. So fast session preparations, each attendee is asked to make a list of objects that are part of the environment that surrounds the system, produced by the system, used by the system with a set of constraints, functions and performance criteria. Some of the activities of fast session: every participant presents his or her list, combined list for each topic, discussion, consensus list, sub teams for mini specifications, presentations of mini specifications, validation criteria, sub team to draft specifications. So these are the activities which are carried out starting from the initiative till the draft specification preparation. The fourth approach on the requirements elicitation would be QFD, which is quality function deployment, where we incorporate voice of the customer. Technical requirements are documented. The prime concern is the customer satisfaction. So whatever the requirements posted by my customer, their voice is captured, which are converted to technical requirements, and then it will be documented. So what is important for the customer here is we have to prepare normal requirements, expected requirements and exciting requirements. Some of the steps which are to be followed in this QFD process is: identify who your stakeholders are, list out requirements and degree of importance to each requirement. So as with quality function deployment, I would rank every functionality on a scale of 5, which are like this. 5 point means it is very important, 4 point means it is important, 3 point means not important but nice to have, 2 point means not important, and 1 point gives you an intention of unrealistic, required further exploration. So which are given to different stakeholders and the requirements are collected. So based on which I will assess on the quality issues. So the objective of requirements engineer, he may have to categorize the work in terms like: it is possible to achieve, it should be deferred and why, it is impossible and should be dropped from the consideration. So first, the category requirements will be implemented as per the priority assigned with every requirement. The fifth approach, which is seeming to be an important approach and a typically used approach, would be the use case approach. Ivar Jacobson and others introduced this use case approach for eliciting and modeling of requirements, where this use case gives a functional view. When I say use case, it just mentions what of the system rather than how exactly of the system, without actually having to understand of how the system is to be implemented. So, the terms used here are use cases, use case scenario, use case diagram, often interchanged, but they are different. Use cases are structured outline or template for the description of user requirements modeled in a structured language like English. Use case scenarios are unstructured descriptions of user requirements, and use case diagrams are graphical representations that may be decomposed into further levels of abstraction. Maybe at use case diagram level we might give higher level of abstraction, which can even be coined and can be brought down to lower levels of abstraction also. So, the different components that are existing within this use case approach are actors. An actor or external agent lies outside the system model, but interacts with it in some way. So, actor can be a person, a machine, an information system. Cockburn distinguishes between primary and secondary actors. So, who are said to be a primary actor? A primary actor is one having a goal requiring the assistance of the system, and a secondary actor is one from which system needs assistance. So, primary actor gives assistance and secondary actor where system needs assistance from him. So, with which we can define what an use case would be. A use case is initiated by the user with a particular goal in mind and completes successfully when that goal is satisfied. So, this particular use case is basically for requirements engineering purpose alone, where exactly after having got all your elicitation of requirements, all your requirements we just have to plot, we just have to analyze and plot in terms of use cases. So, use cases describes the sequence of interactions between actors and the system necessary to deliver the services that satisfies the goal, where exactly we can have alternative sequences and system is treated as a black box. So, black box typically means we need not understand what would be the internal components of this particular system. Without having to understand on the internal components, we just have an overall plot of the system. We just look at the surface of the system and we work. So, thus we go in for the typical definition of use cases. Use cases captures who does what with the system, for what purpose, without dealing with system internals. Here who actually means the actors, who does what. So, actors how they interact with the system, for what purpose. Say having mentioned the goal, those goals are said to be the purpose which are to be solved without having dealing with the system internals. That is the definition says. I repeat the definition: use cases captures who does what with the system, for what purpose, without dealing with system internals. This particular definition defines all behavior required of the system bounding the scope of the system. So, as I have said, Jacobson and his team developed this particular use case approach. So, Jacobson and others proposed a template for writing use cases as shown below. So, initially on understanding the user requirements, I need to prepare the introduction. So, after having defined the problem, I just have to understand what is the basic objective of the problem, with which I will prepare an introduction which describes a quick background of the use case, and I need to mention who all will be involved for the development of the work and who will be the user of the system, who are mentioned to be as actors. So, actors, the list of actors that interact and participate in this particular use case. The third point would be preconditions preconditions that need to be satisfied for the use case to perform, and post conditions define the different states in which we expect the system to be in after the use case executes. So preconditions are those which requires an initial level. So before I go in for the introduction, after having clearly understood the objective, before going in for its development, I just post in what are the preconditions which are required for the development, and post conditions after having written those use cases, what are the stages which are required for its establishment. And the fifth attribute which is required is the flow of events, where exactly the first point would be the basic flow, which lists the primary events that will occur when this use case is executed. So these primary events are the events which are already available or has a flow which is exactly mentioned as with the system. We will look at this particular flow for the system which I have given you in the initial case for a student result management system, but for this specific system, although we have given a basic flow, we may have to go in for alternative flows if in case it fails to execute. So the second point talks about alternative flows. Any subsidiary events that occur in the use case should be separately listed. List each such events as an alternative flow. A use case have many alternative flows as required, which are mentioned as the use case template. We will go for the special requirements now. Business rules should be listed for basic and information flows as special requirements in the use case narration. These rules will also be used for writing test cases. Both success and failure scenarios should be described. So when I am about to write test cases, I will be discussing on the success and the failure rates. So this use case lies as a base to understand the problem and to analyze on the success and failure rates of the scenarios described. For complex systems, it is recommended to document the relationships between the use case. Listing the relationship between use case also provides a mechanism for traceability. So having understood all those 7 points which are necessary to prepare the use case templates, now that we will go for how exactly or what guidelines need to be taken when you are coining the use cases. Given a particular problem, to draw in the use cases, initially I need to identify all the users, create a user profile for each category of users like administrator, user and so, including all roles of the users play that are relevant to the system. For the problem of student result management system, where student will be one of the user, staff is the other user and administrator will be the third user. So who are said to be as created with different profiles. Create a use case for each goal following the use case template, maintain the same level of abstraction throughout the use case, which steps in higher level use cases may be treated as goals for the lower level, and these lower levels are called as sub use cases. We will go for a short break. Welcome back after the break. Before the break, we have discussed on how to write a use case, what use cases are, for what purpose we need to write a use case, and what are the guidelines that are to be followed during use case sessions. So we have looked at 3 different classifications of use case, 3 different guidelines of a use case, where we have identified all the users, we have to mention the profile of those level of users and the goal required to initiate these use cases. Now we need to structure all the use cases. So structure the use case, review and validate with the users. So to effectively draw a use case diagram, there should be some notations for all these use cases, so which are represented here. Use case diagrams represents what happens when the actor interacts with a system. Captures a functional aspect of the system where the actors are mentioned in this particular notation. Use cases are generally put with oval, and the arrow mark between the actor and the use case indicates the relationship between the actor and the use case and or between the use cases. Actors appear outside the rectangle. The rectangle which I mentioned here is the bounded problem. If in case you are going for a student result management system, whatever use cases mentioned, those use cases will be within those rectangles. So actors would appear outside the rectangle. Use cases within rectangle provide the functionality of the system, and relationship association is a solid line between the actors and the use cases. Use cases should not be used to capture all the details of the system. So as we have defined, requirements engineering says what of the system, but this particular use case does not give you an intention of almost all the details of the system. Only significant aspects of the required functionality being mentioned in the use case, and it does not, although we gave lot of notations, it does not concentrate on the design issues. So keep in mind, this particular use case is not at all a design issue. This gives you a picture of what of the system and who does what with the system. Use cases are for what of the system and is not for how the system will be designed, free of the design characteristics. Design in turn will have its own set of characteristics, as we have mentioned for the requirements also, but those characteristics have not been taken care at this level. Keep in mind, this particular characteristics which we are studying as a part of requirements engineering is between the customer and the developer. Every interaction which is happening between the customer and developer having only mentioned here. So now for the problem which I have mentioned in the session before, the result management session, for which we have developed a use case which was after thorough understanding of the guidelines which I have gave you for use case preparation. So now as I have said, these oval indicates the use cases, this notation indicates the actors, and the line between the actor and the use case which represents the relationship. So this is seeming to be the domain in which I develop. So the ovals within this particular, the use cases within this particular rectangle are mentioned to be as the result management domain, where I will have three different actors: the data entry operator, administrator and a student or a teacher. The different use cases are, I just have to maintain the student details, subject details and the mark details which is in form of result, and I create a login and generate result report and view results. Now if it is not said to be as an automated system, so this application is developed with an intention of not to make it automated. So here the data entry operator is given an option of maintaining the student details, subject details and result details, and while given a complete username and password, so which is created as a part of login. Administrator can do the job of, after having logged in, he can generate result report and have to look at the results, view results. Here the relationship between the users or the actors and the use cases are structured. Why specifically? Because if any data entry operator wants to view at the result, it is not possible. Otherwise, if I give the login on top of this rectangle, this line crosses, which I would say it is not structured properly, it is in an unstructured format, whereas the alignment which I have made here is in a structured format where all the use cases are aligned as per the actors requirements. So In this particular use case, maintain student details, where exactly I can add, modify, update student details like name, address, roll number, etc. Maintaining subject details, add, modify, update subject information semester wise, and maintain result details include every entry of marks and assignment of credit points for each paper. So this is the description which carries on back of the use case definition. Login provides the use to provide way to enter through user ID and password, which was typical, and you know the time I create a login, I create a I want to go in for a web page, I will be provided with a user ID and password. Generate result report, used to print various reports. View results according to the course code, I can look at the marks, and according to the enrollment number or roll number also I can even look at the marks. So these are the descriptions which are carried out behind the use case diagram notation. This particular use case is developed through a series of fixed length mini projects called iterations, maintained and enhanced by Rational Software Corporation, and thus referred as Rational Unified Process. If you are about to automate the result management system, we have seen an unautomatic system. Now that if you want to automate this result management system, where there can be a provision, there is a provision given for data entry operator and the administrator to log in. So now if you wanted to automate the student result management system, where provision can be given for the student also. So you can bind a relationship between a student and the login, where the student will maintain its details, maintain the subject details, but result details cannot be maintained. So that can be one of the updation which can be provided when you go for automatic student result management system. In case if I want you to develop it for some other application like railway reservation system, where it is done manually, in that case I might require 3 actors and 6 different use cases. So the 3 actors are a reservation clerk who does a job of reserving a ticket, cancelling a ticket, and updating any information about the train, and the administrator will take care of the job of login, generate reports, and updating train schedule, whereas the passenger is given a slot only to look at the train schedule. So this was for manual train ticket reservation system, railway reservation system. Here also if you wanted to update it and want to do it automatically as you do it in irctc.co.in, where the passenger is also given a login and he can reserve ticket, cancel ticket, and he can generate report. So a link is to be established with reserve, cancel, generate reports, and update information is only available to reservation clerk alone, and any update to the train schedule is available with administrative alone. So this kind you can make this particular unautomated system automatic, and you then have to follow the structured methodology when you go for railway ticket reservation system also. On a summary, we have started looking out with requirements elicitation phase, where in this particular session I started with fast approach, which was facilitated action specification technique approach, where instead of one nominee from a company or from the customer, a group of employees will be interacting with a group of customers, which will be done at the fast approach. The second approach was your quality function deployment QFD approach, where we rank all the requirements based on some 5-point scaling, and we used to draw a use cases for all those requirements which got elicited at the basic level. So within the use case we have mentioned who does what with the system, for what purpose. And purpose here means the goal without having to look at the system internals. So that is the objective of the use case definition. So, with which we started drawing the use case, where we have mentioned actors and use cases. Actors are mentioned with some symbols like human being, and use cases are mentioned with ovals, and a rectangle is meant to mention the domain, and a link between the actor and the use case or between the use cases to mention the relationship exists between the actor and the use case and between the use cases. So, this is what we have seen, and we have started describing about elicitation, and we have discussed till how to draw an use case diagram. Now, some questions which I want you to answer. How do you compare fast activated specification technique with brainstorming sessions? Define use cases, and what are the guidelines followed for a use case? Thank you.